Welcome to the Agora Follow podcast, where you learn English in a way you'll never forget. And now, your host, the craziest English teacher from Brazil, Leonardo Leite.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one more Agora Follow podcast. In today's episode, I want to talk about how to include English training in your daily routine. Yeah, I get hundreds of emails from people asking me for tips on how to practice English every day. And to be honest with you, that was one of the most challenging things when I was learning English myself. You know, I consider myself the kind of person who has trouble having discipline. So I had a hard time training my English consistently, you know. And I understand if you have the same problem. Learning English is a lot of fun, and it can also be a pain in the ass, depending on how you see it. It's critical that you keep in touch with the language as much as you can. The more contact with English you have, the faster you learn, more familiar with the sounds you'll be. Everything will flow naturally and great. The real secret for learning English easily and speaking fluently is being in contact with English as much as you can. That's it. There is nothing else to it. But there is a phrase for you today. Easy said than done. É mais fácil falar do que fazer, meu amigo. Claro. Falando assim, parece a coisa mais fácil do mundo. Não é tão simples assim. The activity of listening, speaking, practicing your English is very simple. To do these things on a daily basis is where the problem lies. We're bombarded with information all the time. It's incredible. The amount of information we're exposed to is gigantic. Focusing on one single task nowadays is much more difficult than it was 20 years ago. We didn't have iPads, iPhones, iPods, multitask software and systems, not to mention the addictive social channels, such as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Foursquare, Instant Messengers, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Plus, all the email messages one gets every day. Eu até abro espaço aqui para falar do famoso Zap Zap. Olha, sei não, mas caso você esteja chegando neste planeta agora, ou tenha acordado de, sei lá, um coma de 3 anos, eu estou falando do aplicativo para smartphones que se chama WhatsApp. Oh my God. People nowadays don't call each other anymore. They instant message someone. We're getting lazy, my friends. We don't want to call anymore. We'd rather chat with instant messengers. Sometimes I catch myself trying to explain something to a friend, typing on WhatsApp. And then I wake up and figure, hey, wait a second. Just call me, man, and I'll explain to you in 30 seconds. Bam, it's much faster, much more practical. Trust me, communicating with people through verbal language is still the most effective way. Okay, let's go back to our challenge here. Practice English constantly on a daily basis. How? Well, if I had to give you one hint only, and the most important, that would be practice English as you go on your day. I mean, listen or speak English as you run your errands throughout the day. Okay, what's run your errands? You know, do the things that you normally do every day, like going to the bank, going to the cleaners, to the post office, you know, just like you're doing right now. You can be listening to this podcast as you drive, walk, you know, travel, do the dishes, clean the house, work out. Listen actively. What's that? Participate in what you're listening. Talk to the person you're listening to. You can do that mentally at first. And once you're familiar with the topic, you can actually interact with your listening material. Listen to the audio many times. If the guy in the audio asks questions, answer them. By the way, that's exactly what happens in my lessons, okay? Don't be shy. Don't be afraid of looking like a crazy person talking to yourself. You're not talking to yourself. You're talking to the person you're listening to. E é isso que é treinar inglês, caramba. Não é comprar um monte de livros, texto com exercício de completar e traduções em inglês. It's actually listening to a person talking to you and you talking back to the person. That's all. That's all you want. Communicate. You don't want to check the best alternative of a verb tense on a written test or a written exercise. I'm not saying written exercises are bad. They are actually fun to do, but they're not your way to fluency, to good and fast listening, to communicating in English. You don't get fluent in English by reading or doing written exercises. You get fluent by listening again and again and again. Listen and answer, listen and answer, listen and answer every single day. Let me say that again. Every single day, constantly. So, you already know what the big challenge is, right? Keep your practicing constant. It's not how much you study English that matters. It's how frequently you listen and interact in English that really improves your communication skills. Well, okay, great. So let's review the important points of this podcast. Number 1, practice English on a daily basis. Number 2, practice as you do ordinary things during your day, running, walking, working out, doing dishes, whatever, traveling. Number 3, listen to the same audio many times. Again, listen to the same audio many times. That's very, very important. Number 4, listen and talk to the person you're listening to. Interactive listening. And number 5, my favorite, have fun during the process. Have fun all the way. That's one of the most important things when you're learning English. Have fun. Have fun listening to this podcast. Listen to this podcast again. Have fun with it. Okay, now it's your turn. Tell me, what's your favorite activity to do as you practice your English? How do you like to practice your English, or how would you like to practice your English? E aí, o que você gostaria de fazer enquanto pratica o seu inglês? Ou você é daqueles que gosta de sentar na mesa, abrir um livro e estudar, hein? Deixe aí seu comentário. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have enjoyed. Have a great day. Cheers.